Hey everybody, we are here again once a week with our Artist of the Week, and this week we have Anthony Scott coming to us all the way from Columbus, Ohio. Anthony just recently completed a mega sculpt, which we're going to see later on, but for right now, let's get started with this. Hey Anthony, thank you very much for joining us here on Monster Vision. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate this.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, how's the weather over there in Columbus today?
Well, I would say for Ohio, it's pretty hot. It was 98 degrees, but I know where you're from, that's like a day in the park.
Yeah, but you guys have the humidity and we don't. So our 98 is nothing compared to your 98. Your 98 feels like our 115. So I've been out there and I know. So Anthony, Let's start off. Why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've always been a huge fan of horror and sci-fi, and really I got into this seriously of doing masks probably about like 3 years ago. I went to the Art Institute of Pittsburgh and I went for the entertainment design program, and that's where I learned the skills that I use for mask making.
Cool. All right. So now, how long have you been making masks?
I would say seriously 3 years.
Wow.
4 years ago, I went to Mask Fest my first time, had my own table, and it was a wake-up call. Yeah. It really was.
Mm-hmm.
I rushed everything. Honestly, this is one thing that I'll say for anybody who's getting into it. You have to accept that the first few things that you do are going to be crap.
Yeah.
Because my stuff was crap, and it really put a fire under my butt, and I was like, I will never be embarrassed like that. So I just, as soon as I got home, I started working on stuff, and, here I am today.
Cool. So you said Art Institute of Philadelphia, was it?
Of Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pittsburgh. Okay. How was that school? How would you describe your experience of doing that?
There's a lot of people that I know that have issues with the school that I went to. Honestly, our major is no more. Yeah, but the thing is that I went into the program trying to learn as much as possible.
Okay.
I was starved for it because before I went to school, I was trying to figure it out, and I was just floundering and failing. But when I went to school, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Oh, good.
I met a lot of great people, had a lot of great teachers, and honestly, I learned more from the students around me than anyone else, because we were hanging out, and in our off time, they'd say, oh, well, if you're having problems with this, just do this.
Yeah.
It's just like shop talk, even when we're hanging out, having a beer or something.
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of different people who've been to several different schools. Your regular, schools, your schools of art, even like Tom Savini or the Stan Winston schools, which I think those two tend to get a lot higher marks for people that have gone to them to really learn stuff. But when it comes to other places, it seems to be real hit and miss. Some people are like, oh yeah, I learned a lot. And other people are kind of like, yeah, no, it was a waste of my time. So it can really, I guess, vary and stuff. So
yeah, I would say, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would say that the thing that I liked the most about that was that it wasn't just makeup. It wasn't, it wasn't just prosthetics. We learned animatronics there, CNC 3D modeling,
Wow.
It was like a broad scope. I don't know much about the Douglas program, but from what I've been seeing lately, they've been doing some stellar stuff.
Nice. So now I've seen your work and I'm blown away by it, and we are going to show it in a little bit in a montage, but I'm going to just ask you, okay, where do you feel you draw most of your inspiration for your work?
Oh man, probably nightmares. Honestly. Yeah. I'm one of the strange few people who get excited when I have a really good nightmare.
I'm exactly the same way.
I'll wake up, and if there's sweat on my body and I'm breathing hard, I will roll out of bed, wake up my girlfriend while I'm doing it, grab my sketchbook, and just sketch it out.
Nice.
Also, throughout my entire life, I've drawn. And getting into when I was going to college, I started doing a little bit more of an abstract style of drawing where I would do just some scribbles and some shapes, and I wouldn't look at it for a couple hours. I'd go back and I'd start finding forms and refining them and kind of, finding the strange creature in the textures and in the lines and in the values.
Yeah.
But besides that, with artists, I mean, Casey Love is one of my absolute top favorite artists. He's one of my biggest inspirations. Same with Carlos Huante. Carlos Huante, his work, I mean, every time I see a new piece by him, it drives me to be even more original.
Cool.
Because his stuff is just so out there and it's so beautiful.
Awesome. Now, I have a feeling I know what you're going to answer in this next question, but I'm going to go ahead and ask it anyways. What would you say has been your biggest triumph in mask making so far?
Oh, without a doubt, Summon.
Yeah.
That piece almost killed me.
Yep.
It really did. It almost killed me. Yeah. And through the whole time I was doing this, from original concept and when I told people that I was going to sculpt it, and then I started sculpting it, everyone that I knew was saying, "You're insane."
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're insane for doing that.
I followed you on Latex Mask Central that entire time. I saw all of the comments. I was one of those people on the edge of my seat, biting my fingernails, going, "Oh my God, that looks so awesome!" But holy crap, I was praying that it didn't blow up in your face during the molding process. So when you actually posted that the mold was done and you got it open and all, I was like, even I was like, yes. So, I mean,
I Ric Flair wooed for like 10 minutes just in the basement at 3 o'clock in the morning. Just woo!
Yeah. Now we all have our major successes that we definitely deserve our props for. But at the same time, we have all broken a few eggs in our omelet making process. What would you say has been the worst setback, or the maybe even the funniest bad thing that happened to you?
Oh, man. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I would say probably like the biggest defeat, it was definitely because that's what I was thinking about, like what left me feeling just like so down in the dumps. A few years back, I did this sculpture called Space Scum, and it's this huge piece. And I ended up molding it in Hydrocal. Because my peers around me, they're saying this is the best for mask making. It cures the latex so quick. And I was like, I don't know. This is like the biggest thing I had ever done at that point. And I really loved the sculpture. It really done like a lot of detailing work. And I just want to say it's all because of Kyle Roberts. He told me, he said, "Quit being lazy." Said, "Put the detail into it. You'll love it." And I just kind of was like, "Oh, I don't want to." But he was like, "Quit being lazy. You'll love it."
No.
So shout out to him for making me put in all that detail. But yeah, I did it at Hydrocal by myself. And it was like almost 100 degrees outside, and the plaster kicks super fast.
Oh, man.
And if you guys know anything about Hydrocal, it does not adhere to itself.
Yeah, you can't laminate it, so.
Yeah, so essentially, it's one of the lightest molds that I have in my basement. Even though it's like one of the, besides Summoned, it's one of the biggest. And it was so thin in points that when I was cleaning out clay, I was actually just busting holes through the mold.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've only had one casting out of it. And that was just one of those things where, first of all, don't give in to peer pressure, kids.
Yeah.
Use the material you're comfortable with.
Absolutely. Good advice. Good advice. All right, cool. Well, let me ask you, where would you like to see yourself 5 years from today?
Oh man, I want to be working in LA on film.
Okay, cool.
Even if it is in LA, I just want to be working on film so bad.
Movie industry.
Because the whole reason that I went to school and the reason why I'm doing mask making, really the reason why I'm doing mask making is to keep myself sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do this to increase my skills so that eventually I can be making the movies that inspired me to get into this.
There you go. There you go. Now, speaking of that, you mentioned earlier that you are a big fan of horror movies and stuff. Let me ask you, what would you say is your number one favorite horror movie?
Ooh, that's such.
I know it's a tough one, but just one. Which one's your favorite?
Oh man!
And you're gonna end up with a lot of people watching this interview that are like, "No, I hate him," but don't worry, you like what you like.
Oh my goodness! As of now, I would say as of right now, my favorite horror movie is probably Hereditary.
Oh.
Which it's a newer one, but if I have to go back to classics, I would definitely say Evil Dead.
Oh, absolutely. Classic.
It's like a tie. Evil Dead, Reanimator.
Uh-huh.
One of those two, because I had a great horror movie night when I was a kid with my uncle, and it was Night of the Living Dead, Reanimator, and Evil Dead. So those are like a part of my holy grail, but it's almost impossible to pick a favorite horror movie.
That's true. That's very true. So good answer. Good answer. Okay, so if there's someone out there who is watching this video right now and they've never made a mask, they've never even bought nothing, they're just thinking about getting into it, what would you tell them to be the best piece of advice that they should follow? Just the one thing that you would pass on to someone who's brand new just getting into this.
Okay, so this is something that I tell everybody who's getting into it. Be prepared for you to not be happy for your first pieces.
Okay.
The first pieces that you do, it's so easy to get caught up in comparing yourself to the Jordy Shells, the Casey Loves, like all these amazing artists. Be prepared to suck at first. You're going to blunder. You're going to stumble through. You're going to have issues delaminating in molds, paint not sticking, latex not casting, all this. But the great thing is that there are so many great online forums to go to. Latex Mask Central, if you have any question, you'll get 30 answers within, I don't know, 2 hours.
Yep, absolutely. I also find Latex Mask Central, along with there's another group, Sculptors, Mask Makers, and Makeup Artists. That's the other one that I think is one of my favorites. The people that are on those groups are genuinely, for the most part, some of the coolest people out there because they are so accepting of new people. So I'm glad that you brought them up because they are great resources. So excellent. All right. Well, we are going to go ahead and show everyone in the world your work. So everyone, take a look at some of this stuff and please try not to have nightmares from it. right, Anthony, man, I'm telling you, dude, I'm waiting to see your name in credits with some of those monsters and stuff. I see it coming down the road. So again, hey, I want to thank you for taking the time for doing this. Thank you for being an inspiration. Amazing skill. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out before we wrap this up?
Oh yeah, definitely. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to all my AIP alumni who are actually like doing it. They're actually going for it. I love you guys, and you're doing great. But personally, I'd like to thank Jordan Patton and Dylan Thomas. Those two guys, I went through school with them, and they have helped teach me so much.
Sweet.
Yeah, and I just want to let you guys know that look out for their work. They're doing amazing stuff, and they're great guys.
Excellent. Yes, I agree. Well, again, thank you very much for being on this show. I know you're going to be an inspiration to a lot of people watching this, and we definitely want to check in with you down the road and have you back again someday.
That sounds amazing. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I really love what you're doing for the mask community, bringing everyone together, teaching people new stuff, and honestly giving exposure to weirdos like me.
No, wait, rephrase that. It's weirdos like us, my friend.
Oh, like us. Yes.
There you
like
go.
Us. Great.
All right. Well, again, thank you, and we'll be in touch with you. And there you go, Anthony Scott out of Columbus, Ohio. We're going to put links to him in the description of this issue and whatnot, and also right here on the screen. So make sure you look him up on the socials, send him a friend request, like him, follow him, all that kind of stuff. And if he throws something up that's for sale, you might want to get it now before it becomes a hard to get collector's item in the future. So let's get back to our regular episode.